Hi. What's your name?
Priscilla.
You like Elvis Presley?
Of course. Who doesn't?
What are the kids listening to these days?
Bobby Darin, Fabian, and you.
Just what is the intent here, Mr. Presley? You got women throwing themselves at you. Why my daughter?
Well, sir, I happen to be very fond of your daughter. She's much more mature than her age.
21!
22. That's 22. You don't have to worry about her. Black hair and more eye makeup.
I don't know if I like it.
What do you mean you don't know if you like it?
I want a life of my own.
Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review. I am happy that you can join me today. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Click the subscribe button below for future notifications and updates. Click the like button and share this content with other movie fans. So last Saturday, my mother and I went to see the new movie Priscilla. It is considered to be a biographical drama. It stars Kaylee Spaney as Priscilla Presley and Jacob Elordi as Elvis Presley. It was written, directed, and produced by Sofia Coppola, and the running time is 1 hour, 53 minutes. It was based on the memoir, Elvis and Me, by Priscilla Presley, and she was one of the executive producers on the film. What a lot of people in the media did not mention is Elvis and Me was published in 1985. And in the late 80s, there was a two-part TV miniseries based on the book. Priscilla and Elvis at that time were played by Susan Walters and Dale Midkiff. I also need to mention that when Lisa Marie Presley learned about this project, she was very upset with the negative portrayal of her father, which is something I am going to comment on in a moment. There has been a lot of talk on social media and in the press about comparing this film to Baz Luhrmann's film that was released in June of last year. And I think the comparison is somewhat inappropriate, but I will get to that in a moment as well. First, let me give you a brief description of the movie in case you don't know who Priscilla is. The movie tells the story of Priscilla's relationship with Elvis Presley. She met Elvis in Germany while he was serving in the army and her father was serving in the Air Force. At the time, she was 14 and Elvis was 24, and he lost his beloved mother the year prior. Now, I have heard criticism in the past that Elvis was an adult preying on an underage girl. But when you watch the beginning of the film, you see that Elvis kind of lived in a bubble, and the people around him controlled who had access to him. Priscilla was invited to Elvis's home by a grown-up friend because, quote, Elvis likes to be around people who come from back home, as in back home in the States. So they met at his house and he took a liking to her. They fall in love. After 8 years, they got married. And after 6 years, Priscilla wants a divorce and she leaves Elvis's famous home, Graceland. And the movie ends there. It ends when she leaves Graceland. I am giving this film 2 out of 5 stars. It sounds harsh and it sounds like I am giving it a lower score than most people and most websites, and I admit, I am giving this a low score. I don't want to give this a low score because I am a fan of Sofia Coppola and I have been waiting for her for years for her to make another movie. But this film has one major problem. You can watch a good film a great film and a bad ending can ruin it. So if Baz Luhrmann's Elvis was overwhelming, Priscilla was underwhelming. And the reason why I think the ending ruined it, what otherwise would have been a great film, what I saw was a 2-hour film titled Priscilla, and in the end, we don't know who Priscilla is. At least I don't know who Priscilla is. In this film, Elvis is both the love of the protagonist and the antagonist. So even though I understand how Lisa Marie Presley felt about the script and how her father was portrayed, I see Elvis as the antagonist, but he is not a villain. When you watch the entire film, you see Priscilla have moments of outbursts and her having opinions on certain things, but you don't know who she is because she is in a relationship with someone who lives in a world that revolves around him. Because of that, Elvis makes a bad boyfriend and a bad husband. And his family is partially to blame for that, actually. He was an only child, and then he became one of the most famous singers in the world. So what you see is who Priscilla is to Elvis, not who she is as an individual. Then Priscilla went to go live with him in Graceland when she was 16, 17. And Elvis's father and grandmother were okay with it. That disturbs me more than the age gap between Elvis and Priscilla. My favorite character in the movie is actually her father. Priscilla's father was as protective as he could be, given the fact that she fell in love and she wanted this relationship with Elvis. He asked Elvis point blank, "You got girls throwing themselves at your feet, why my daughter?" And thanks to her father, she had to finish high school while living with Elvis. Otherwise, he and her mother were going to put a stop to the relationship. So Elvis had to follow her father's rules, and I support that 100%. However, once Priscilla turned 18, her father lost control. And I wonder if her parents knew the dynamics of their relationship. Also, there is a scene where Elvis's father tells Priscilla, "You cannot invite friends to Graceland because strangers are not allowed." But again, this goes back to we don't know Priscilla. I had to read her biography after I saw the movie. Because her father was in the military, she moved around a lot as a child, and she always worried about making friends. Then she moves in with Elvis at 16, 17, and she has a hard time making friends again because everyone knows she's Elvis's girlfriend. If I am to compare this movie to another movie, I think it's fair to compare it to the 1980s TV movie. Minus the commercials, the TV movie is about 3 hours long, and I thought it did a slightly better job at having the audience learn who Priscilla is. And this goes back to movie fans need to stop complaining about the running time of a film, because if you added another 15, 30 minutes to Coppola's film so that we find out who Priscilla is after her marriage is over, I would have gotten a satisfying ending. Another plus is the TV movie has the same title as the book. So when you watch a movie like that, you know what to expect. I am expecting to see a story about Elvis and Priscilla. But to call this movie Priscilla, I am expecting to find out who she is before the movie is over. So I feel like this movie doesn't do the real Priscilla Presley justice. By ending the film with her leaving Graceland, I feel I got cheated and Priscilla got cheated. After Elvis died, Priscilla became an actress, but I think her career suffered because she probably was in his shadow. I don't know. I am just taking a guess. She became a successful businesswoman, and I wondered how she found her gift for business. The relationship she had with her son's father lasted much longer than her marriage to Elvis, and I wonder why. What was different? There are reasons why it's unfair to compare the Elvis movie to this movie. Number one, the cinematography is completely different. Elvis is a brightly lit movie, whereas this movie is dark. Even when the scenes take place in daylight, it is dark and the shades cover the windows in the day scenes. We are talking about two different DPs with different objectives. Number two, in Elvis, we get the point of view from Tom Parker, who saw Elvis as a cash cow that he could use to get rich. Whereas in Priscilla, we see Elvis at home. I think this goes for everyone, whether you're famous or not. You are not the same person at home as you are at work, which leads to my third point. We cannot compare Austin Butler to Jacob Elordi because even though they are playing the same person, their personas are different. The goal of each movie is different. Sofia Coppola and Baz Luhrmann are two different directors. So with two different directors, two different DPs, we are going to see two different characterizations of Elvis. Everyone on set has a part to play in the storytelling. As far as Oscar buzz, I think Kaylee Spaney did as well as she could with the script she had, but I think she too got robbed because we don't know who Priscilla is, and if I remember correctly, she had less lines in the film than Elordi because the world revolved around Elvis. I think Elordi might get a nomination. I don't know if he could be considered for Best Supporting or Best Lead. She is the protagonist, so he can be considered as Best Supporting Actor, but you can't consider him Best Lead because there are scenes in which he is not there because Elvis was away shooting a movie for weeks at a time, or he was off making an album. And she was stuck at home reading rumors of affairs in magazines, wondering if he is cheating on her before and after they got married. And even when he is not there, you feel his presence. You feel the weight of his absence. And that makes Elordi's performance a brilliant one. His performance has an abundance of energy. There is another scene. Priscilla and Elvis are on the phone, and he is shooting a movie, and Priscilla has nothing to do except play with her dog that he gave her. Elvis asked her if she had enough money. If a man loves you, I think that is a legit question. Elvis wants to make sure she has enough spending money. Her reply was Elvis's father has tight control over the money. Her solution is she wants to work at a boutique because she thinks it will be fun and the job will give her something to do. And this was after she graduated from high school. Elvis says no. He doesn't want her to work. And, quote, she must keep the home fire burning even though they do not have sex during their 8-year courtship prior to the marriage. And he's sleeping with other women. This is what I mean. Elvis was a complicated paradox, and Priscilla was this quiet, obedient girlfriend. Elvis is a force of nature, and Priscilla, in certain scenes, is like a wallflower. I was watching a video about what a divorce lawyer learned about marriage. And he said, you divorce who you marry. And that is a good reason, in my opinion, to watch this film. Watch this film for yourself and let me know what you think of it. Elvis is around employees and family. Employees are hired to provide Elvis a particular service. They're all there for him. And Elvis's father and grandmother don't have a problem taking care of him without expecting anything in return, because his father and his grandmother are technically his parents. But a romantic relationship, a marriage, is a completely different relationship. It requires mutual support so that both people are growing. Elvis, being the star and the center of his world, was getting in the way of Priscilla's natural process of evolution. If he didn't want her to work, why not suggest that she go to college? That would have been an option. And he had the money to pay her tuition. And she would be growing and evolving. I didn't see Elvis asking questions about Priscilla, like, what do you like to read? What do you like to eat? What do you want out of life? When they first meet, one of the questions that he asked her was, so what are the kids listening back home? That's not a question about Priscilla. The best thing a person like Elvis could have done is put the attention and spotlight on Priscilla. Everyone is looking at you. You look at Priscilla. That's all for today, my friends. This movie review is kind of getting long, so I'll stop here. And I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time with another movie review. Until then, stay safe and have fun at the movies.